Welcome, welcome everyone. Welcome to Quaran-Toons, the show where the quarantine continues.
Oh my god, quarantines until August.
Dude, don't even get me started with that shit.
Aren't you glad to be home, dude? We get to play more games and you know.
I am glad. But it's like a double-edged sword, man. Like there's supposed to be shit that's opening up this week and stuff, and I'm just like, I really feel like it's gonna open up for like about 5 seconds, and then they're gonna be like, all right, you guys fucked it up. You guys ruined it. Everyone back in quarantine. Yeah, because like, okay, first of all, I'm Steve.
I'm Ernie.
Okay, yeah, that for people who don't know, just putting that out there.
We're also brothers. We'll just say everybody knows.
Yeah, we're also brothers. We're also robots. They opened Shanghai Disney. Can you believe that?
Well, that makes sense though, because they have gone through their. You know how they were talking about flattening the curve?
Yeah.
They're way off to the other side now. So
okay, so that's what they say. Supposedly they're through it and whatnot, and then I get conflicting arguments like, dude, China doesn't share like correct information.
Sure.
You know, they report what they want, all this shit, whatever. And I'm like hearing about like, oh yeah, they carry out the dead bodies like at 4 a.m. in the dead of night so nobody can see them, so like cameras can't see them and shit. I don't know. All this weird conspiracy shit's going on. I'm worried about America. In America, supposedly they want to open up Disney Springs, which is it's basically like downtown Disney if you live in California. It's like their shopping district that leads into the parks, you know? And they're talking about opening this up and that like you know face masks are going to be required and all this stuff.
Yeah.
That sounds doable in China only because like I feel like in Asian culture it's like if you're sick you wear a mask. That's like they're just used to that.
Right.
But like fuck, man, here in America it's like you can't ask anyone to do anything. You know, like even if it's the law, people break the law here all the fucking time. People just don't care. Like it's like fundamentally against Americans to be asked to do something, you know? Like it's just so So like I feel like this is going to be their test. Like let's see if they can handle just the shopping area, you know?
No,
because
true.
if they can't handle that, then
Well, yeah, but
I don't know.
And remember that when they say opening up, from what I understand, a lot of this has to be like done with a lot of modifications. So they are opening up the beaches, but not at all the way you think they're opening the beaches. Essentially, the things that are restricted are things where you would be sedentary. So no beach umbrellas or coolers or anything not anything that would cause you to be able to lounge. So you can't even like sunbathe.
Yeah.
You can according to them you can run, you can walk, like you can do things if you're all constantly moving around the boardwalk, but you can't be sedentary. Like you can even go surfing if you want. But you always have to have a mask on. You can't be close to people and you got to keep moving. Like they don't want people just sitting there or anything like that. That's the big thing. And,
and
it's not going to be enough. People are going to be like, no, I want to be able to go play in the sand. And like, it's just never going to be enough for people. You know this.
I know, man. It's like, I'm like, yeah, China got over it, but they were also...
Oh, they got hit really hard with it, though.
Apparently people were like being locked in their houses by the police and stuff. And I guarantee you people weren't outside protesting lockdown and stuff like that. And
well, they were protesting, but for something else. Well, there was something else.
Yeah, but for something, yeah. It's just so weird that it's like, oh, why is it like a political debate here? Like no, like anywhere else in the world, it's actually just like a safety concern. But here it's like everyone's trying to spin it into some kind of whatever. I won't get into that. But, yeah, I can't wait till Disneyland's back open. I'm counting the days. I'm just on. I shouldn't be because it's not gonna be anytime soon. But
yeah, I don't see it. I don't really see it opening it up for. I don't really see it opening it up for the summer or anything. Maybe sometime in the winter, but according to a lot of analysts, they're saying that we might get a second wave of that in the winter. So if we don't handle it well now, then the second wave is going to be equally as bad, and then we're going to get locked down again. It all just depends.
I mean,
I just love the arguments for these things. They're like, I need a haircut. I want to go get my nails done.
Like, what?
Like,
I was like,
those were some of the protest signs, dude. It was crazy.
I don't understand that shit, dude. Like, whatever.
Well, we can't.
Anyway.
You can't because you have hair that's like down to your freaking shoulder blades. That's why.
Yeah. I don't. It's so ridiculous, though, man. Like, just the stupidest shit. You're willing to risk people's lives. Like, I've been listening to Joe Rogan's podcast ever since the coronavirus stuff started. Because he has, like, guests on that talk about it and stuff. And I guess he has tests on hand that he can, like he just buys the test for the people that come to his show. And he's still doing his show. But he had this comedian on, Michael Yo. And that guy had it. And he's like 45 years old, and it hit him really bad.
Right.
And I'm like, dude, 45 years old is like, I don't know, is that the age that people were saying is like even supposed to be at risk? Because it just seems like some people, it just hits fucking hard for no reason. So it's like this, it's like the lottery, like the worst fucking lottery ever, you know? Like, sometimes you're going to get hit with it real bad, and sometimes you're not.
But
like,
see, that's the whole thing, right? Is that some people can have it and not know it because they'll be like, man, I just felt really sick this week. And then they don't know, and they give it to somebody else, and they get hit really hard with it. That's the whole thing about wearing the mask and everything.
He said he gave it to his mom, that guy, Michael Yo. He said he gave it to his mom, who's like 80 or something, and that she only had it for one day. She only had symptoms for one day, and they weren't even that bad, and she got over it. And I was like, "What?"
That's what's crazy. Like at first they told At first they told us that it didn't affect babies, but then like last 2 weeks ago they were like, "Yeah, the first baby died from coronavirus." I'm like,
"Oh, really? What the fuck?"
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Goddamn madness! I can't. It's just so ridiculous.
Which is why, Steve, you should just stay home and just play some video games, man. If you're lucky enough to be able to, like, I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home, and it's just been video game central here. Like, baby and the mom go to sleep, and then turn on that PC and start playing some video games.
You're right. Speaking of video games.
Oh!
Hey, Xbox has got you covered, guys, because they got a whole event full of things that you probably won't want to play, but you know what? They got them. So let's briefly go over this.
Well, did you?
I really don't. I don't own an Xbox One, so I don't.
Did you play the game that I told you to play?
Which one?
Kathy Rain. Did you play that?
I did play Kathy Rain.
Oh my god!
I beat it.
You
I beat it in one day.
Okay, did you beat it in one day?
Yes, Ernie. I just said that. Literally just said that.
Oh my god!
Ernie knows all this. He's playing it up.
Of course, I'm playing it up because they don't know that. You gotta play it up.
Ernie knows that I got stuck on the first puzzle for an embarrassing amount of time.
And then he was tweeting at me all angrily, or like not tweeting, sorry. He was just texting me all angry. He was like, "That's just why would it be that first number? That doesn't make any goddamn sense." I was like, "I don't know. I didn't have a problem with it. I just solved it."
It's like, I don't know. That happens in point and click sometimes, though, doesn't it? Where it's like you solve something just because you tried something.
Yeah.
And then like someone is stuck on it for no reason, and then they're just like, "Why the fuck was it that? Why? How does that make any fucking sense?" And it's like,
oh, that's the sweet embrace of point and clicks, because every point and click has its own logic, right? And really quickly, I want to just point out this fantastic old point and click called Day of the Tentacle. You have to make it rain. And the way that you make it rain is you go wash your car, and then rain clouds come out. That's a perfect example of the logic of a game that you have to figure out. You know what I mean?
But
like that kind of shit is what drives people crazy.
In all fairness, though, it's like they give you a bucket, they give you a sponge, they give you soap, and there is a dirty car there, and it kind of, the gears start to move in your head, and you're just like, okay, maybe I'll wash the car.
Yeah, but
it's kind of like the advantage. It's the advantage I think that like Sam and Max and Day of the Tentacle have, where it's like the puzzles might not always make sense, but it kind of has that excuse that it's like it's a fucking cartoony like video game with like cartoony logic, you know, like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's the best thing about those kind of games is that you have to figure out how the game thinks so that you can also like figure out the puzzles. Now, what did you think of Catherine Rain? A Detective is Born.
You want to talk about that first? Or you want to talk about Xbox?
I want to talk. Let's talk about Xbox first, because I know people are like the Xbox.
Yeah, games. People really want to hear about this Xbox event. Out of all of the games, the only one that really stuck out was that anime looking game to me. What was it called? Scarlet Nexus.
It's called Scarlet Nexus, and it is.
It almost reminded me of like Astral Chain.
It did. That's exactly what I thought, because the way that it's like presented and the way that you kind of move around the map reminds me very much of Astral Chain. Like
this, like these like glitchy monsters come to attack you, and you have like some kind of telekinetic powers kind of thing. I don't know. It just And Astral Chain was really good too. I don't think a lot of people played it because something else came out like right beside it when that game came out. So
didn't Luigi's Mansion come out around the same time?
Luigi's Mansion? I don't think that would make a difference. No offense to Luigi's Mansion.
Luigi's Mansion 3? Excuse me.
I don't remember what. I want to say it was a PS4 game actually.
What?
Yeah, because I remember beating Astral Chain and then immediately starting something else. Or no. Was it Link's Awakening? I think it was Link's Awakening.
Oh, it might have been that, actually. Because now I'm looking at the release date. It was August. And I think that is around the time that... because didn't I buy that and you bought Astral Chain?
Yeah, and then we switched games.
Yeah,
that's right. Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, what actually stuck out to you, Ernie? Because I know obviously everybody wants to hear about Dirt 5.
Oh,
but
what we can't shut up about Dirt 5. That's all we talk about.
What game did you actually see in that event that you thought like, oh, I kind of want to play that, or oh, that looks interesting?
Well, I don't think it's any secret that I've been playing the Yakuza series and I really, really enjoy it because of how absurd and ridiculously over the top violent it is. And they showed this game called Yakuza Like a Dragon with this protagonist that has the craziest hair, right? But he doesn't look like he's part of any of the families. He kind of looks like some sort of weird outlier. He almost kind of looks he has like more American features. I'm not saying he is American because obviously he's not, but he doesn't necessarily look like any of the other, like he belongs in any of the families. And then in it, you see the protagonists from Kiwami and Kiwami 2. I forget their names, but the guy in the white and then the guy with the eye patch, and I forget their names. Majima, I think, is one of them, and I forget the other guy, the Dragon of Dojima. Like, they're both in it, but I don't know if they're helping him or hurting him. But he's just like, it looks badass. You know, it's got all the same traits and everything of like really exaggerated punches. And like, I think there's a clip where he's answering a phone really hard. And like, it's, God, I love those kind of games. So I'm excited for that one.
There was a line in the trailer that made it seem almost like this is an alternate timeline or something.
Really?
It said like you have to change his fate, or you have to... What did it say? It was like something like you have to recreate his fate. It almost makes me seem like... Or it almost makes me think that like... Was this guy like some kind of throwaway character in the main series, and maybe he died and they're just like resurrecting him in a different...
Maybe.
I don't know.
You kind of schooled me right before we started, though, because you told me that Yakuza games typically release in Japan way early, and they don't come to the States until much later. So there's some people who already know this game and know what it's about. But you told me something that threw kind of a curveball at me. You said this game might be turn-based.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's turn-based. I heard somebody on Giant Bomb say that too. They had said like... But the thing is, too, is like they always call it like... They were like, Yakuza 7 is going to be turn-based. I was like, this doesn't look like Yakuza 7. This just kind of looks like a
Yakuza offshoot.
A spin-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some kind of spin-off or something, or like, yeah, I don't know. So I don't know. But it
like
does look.
when they said turn-based, did they elaborate? Did they say turn-based like your traditional Final Fantasy VII, or is it a free roaming turn-based like one of
I'm
my
sure it'll
favorite
still have
games
a
ever
lot of.
was KOTOR, and that was a
Oh
free
yeah,
roaming turn-based, which I love that kind of turn-based.
yeah. I mean, it looked like it was pretty stationary 1v1 kind of action in the trailer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm sure there will still be a lot of like open world exploring. That's what those games do like amazing with is like they really make you feel like you're in Japan exploring like the streets of wherever the fuck it is. I always forget what the
Me
place is
too. But
called.
then you run down an alley, and then there's some naked bald guy gyrating, and he's
Yeah,
like, "Oh yeah."
yeah. Actually, you should. I would say that you should consider playing Final Fantasy VII Remake when it comes out on PC because a lot of the quote unquote like filler stuff in that game
Mm-hmm.
kind of reminds me of Yakuza missions where it's like they're kind of silly and they're kind of stupid, but it's just like I didn't really mind doing it, and I got a funny cutscene out of it, or I got a funny piece of dialogue out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, I get that.
something like that.
Can we go
Or you should try
one? Can we
Judgment.
go
Did you?
one Quaran-Toons without you talking about Final Fantasy VII? Is
No,
that possible?
absolutely not. Did you play? You should try Judgment too if you ever get a PS4. I know. I think.
What's
I think
Judgment?
all the games. Judgment's like a spin-off. Not a spin-off. It's like it's made by the same people, and it feels exactly like a Yakuza game, right down to like the text and how the fucking characters
Is it
talk
silly?
and everything. Yeah, it's like really silly.
Okay,
from
that's a
what I
good
saw.
selling point for me. I want to see. I'll check it out
Yeah.
and see if it's on PC first.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But maybe I'll just finally bite the bullet and get a PlayStation. And
Well, we're getting a PS5 this year, bro.
Well, is
I
it
don't know if
backwards
you wanna do
compatible?
that.
Can I play some old games on it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I know Okay, so Xbox Series X is gonna be like backwards compatible for like just Xbox One or for everything.
They
Or
haven't
how
they
does
haven't
that-
said yet, but the one thing that
Okay.
they mentioned in this and they kept using as a buzzword is something called smart delivery. And
What is that?
So smart delivery is effectively like you buy it digitally, and
Uh-huh.
it retains your ownership. So if you buy this is quoting from Tech Radar. It relates to a game ownership. In short, if you buy one version of an Xbox game that supports smart delivery, you'll always have access to it on the best version of that game, no matter which hardware you're playing on. So, if I buy Devil May Cry 5 on my Xbox, and then I go backwards to Xbox One S, I should be able to play it. So no matter what
Okay.
system I have it on, that piece of software will always be I will always be able to download it because I own the rights to that software.
It's so amazing to me how like things that are just like commonplace on PC are actual like terms on console. Like it makes like it's so weird to me. Like I mean, like because like there was a day when one of my friends came over. He doesn't have a PC, and he was just looking at my library and he was like, "Oh, you have Prince of Persia." He's like, "I haven't played that since like PS2," and I was like, "Oh, do you want to play it?" And he's like, "Oh, you could just play it." And I was like, "What do you?" Like I was like, "You mean because you would have to plug in a PS2 and play it?" It's like, "No, yeah, I can fucking play it right now. It's a computer." Like, what do you mean? Like every time I get a new graphics card, I can just crank up the graphics. Like it's just.
The one
It's funny
shitty
that,
part,
like-
the one shitty part about things like that, like we're being very PC master race right now, but one thing that does suck about that kind of thing is if you have bought an old game, let's say you bought Sonic Adventure 2, that used to be like on the GameCube,
Oh yeah,
all that shit.
I know what you're
If
gonna say. Yeah.
if you get new hardware, it's not necessarily going to run that game like it should. You might get a whole new set of problems about, yeah, it doesn't run it very well, so you got to do all this shit to make it work right. Like that's the advantage of like a game console. They always optimize it for your system.
Yeah,
But-
there, a PC is for people who enjoy tinkering.
Yeah, it really
You know,
is.
for people who like to fuck with settings and get the best performance and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, actually,
I mean,
I just had an incident of that because I went back and I bought. They had another sale on Steam. I'm telling you, they're just having tons of sales. I bought Metal Gear Solid, the Metal Gear Solid.
You got it.
What is it called? Metal Gear Solid. Revengeance. Forget what it's called.
Right. Oh, right. Rising.
Okay,
Revengeance.
yes.
Revising. Whatever. Yeah.
Rising Revengeance. And as soon as I
Revising.
booted it up, I was like, "Oh, this should run like fucking great, right?" No, the frame rate was stuck at like 20. So this game
Oh,
where you're
really?
supposed to be playing like this fucking badass cyber ninja that can cut anybody down because he can slow down time and chop them up, it's running at 20 frames per second, and I'm like, this is garbage. I go back
Were you able to fix it though?
Huh?
Were you able to fix it?
Of course, I was
though,
able
and
to
have
fix it because there's a bunch of forums
Okay.
telling you like, oh, if you have a card from this one on, turn off VSync, blah blah blah. It's all like all these little settings that you turn off, and then the game runs fine.
Oh,
But it's
okay,
like
that's
so
cool.
much tinkering to be done just to play a game, and that's definitely not for everybody. It just isn't. Nobody.
Yeah, it is. But there's no greater feeling than like having a problem on a PC, doing research, and then finally having a solution to that problem. There's literally no other better feeling on the planet.
Yeah,
Like,
I have to agree.
yeah.
Like that's one thing that I really do love about having my PC is that, like, and I guess that's the thing that you're trying to say about Xbox and all these different things. It's like we have something called smart delivery. It was like, you mean having games on your PC?
Yeah.
But they're
You
like,
mean
no,
turning up the
having
graphics.
games on your Xbox that always work no matter what. And I was like, okay,
I
that's
know,
a different
it's like,
story.
you mean a Steam account?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one of those. Yeah, it's fine. I don't need the delivery.
The last game I kind of want to play was called The Ascent. And it's a game that looks like, at first I thought it was Cyberpunk 2047, whatever that one's called. But it
77, yeah.
actually looks like it almost looks like a dungeon crawler, like a Doom 3 Diablo 3, but you're like, it's all cybernetic and stuff. It looks like it's taking place in the Matrix. It's just really looks really
Okay.
cool because it's like it's 4-player, it's a co-op RPG thing, just like Diablo 3, but it looks like instead of powers and magic, you get just tech and all that kind of stuff. And
Oh, I
I'm
did see
interested in
that one. Yeah, and there was like words flashing on the screen that were like "team up, fight together" or
Yeah,
something like that, right?
yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it looks
I
really
did see
cool.
that
I
one.
like it. I like it. I would want to see more of it, honestly, because I think it's something. It's something I would have fun with because I played Diablo 3 to hell and back, and I really enjoyed it.
It reminded me of some other game that came out a few years ago, and the protagonist was like a female, and she had like these guns, and it looked similar to that. I don't know what it was called, but it looked like that. But yeah, that's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were talking a lot of shit on this event, and apparently like Xbox held back from some of the stuff that they could have shown, because I think a lot of people were expecting to see Halo Infinite news
Oh,
and
definitely.
other things of that nature, and they didn't get anything like that. So I was like, I mean, I understand that, but at the same time, it's like you got to give them credit for like this is like this is like the third year in a row where it's like Xbox has just shown games
Yeah,
for like 30 minutes. Like,
and that's what
give them
people
something,
want.
you know? like yeah, like people want games, right? It just they fucking showed us games for like 30 minutes straight. Like just give them a break on that end, you know? It's so weird too because it's like I feel like if you want to pick a side, it's like yeah, I guess you could say Xbox is losing, but it's like then they have stuff like Xbox, like the Xbox app on PC where it's like
You mean
I can
Game
play
Pass
all these
for
Xbox
PC?
yeah, well it's just called the Xbox app, so I don't know whatever. Anyway, yeah, the Game Pass for PC, and it's like I could play all these fucking games on my computer, which is ridiculous. Like that was a smart move on their part.
Oh hell yeah!
Like it might, like they're making good choices as far as like who to appeal to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Xbox Series X is like it's gonna be backwards compatible. Like that's great.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people want. They want to be able to buy the game once and just be able to upscale it like a PC would. You know, like it's just they seem like they know what they're doing, and it's just funny that like they this event happens and people just shit all over. Like I'm like,
It's just that nobody can be satisfied with it, apparently.
yeah, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I don't know. It's the gaming industry is just unpredictable sometimes. Like Animal Crossing came out last. Wait, no. When did it come out? March, right?
Yeah.
People still won't shut up about this fucking game, and it's sold 13 million copies. It's just fucking ridiculous.
It created a shortage on Switches.
Like, yeah, like how ridiculous is that? Like this, like I enjoy Animal Crossing as much as anybody else. Do I think it's fucking 13 million copies worth of whatever, or like causing Switch shortages? I don't really think so. But it just hit at the right time, I guess. Like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I honestly
but
think
yeah.
the reason there was a big focus, like when I was watching it, there was a big focus on them telling you this is in game, like this is in game. Like when it wasn't, they had a big, like a big set of letters at the bottom that said this is not gameplay. This is cinematic. But every time they tried to show a lot of games that were running on Xbox One X, Series X, whatever it's called. They wanted to really, and my guess is that Halo Infinite, whatever they were going to show for that, my guess is that it wasn't optimized yet. Like it wasn't ready to be running on
up to par,
Xbox X or whatever it's called, Series X.
Yeah, because like PS5 is going to drop at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox, people were saying like the games that were shown at that event, they're just like, these graphics don't really look like next gen. They look kind of like this gen. Like they just look like a little bit better than what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you think about it like that, you're kind of like, man, Xbox is going to be behind when PS5 comes out. But then it's like, okay, well, historically, graphics don't mean shit. Never have the graphics ever determined the amount of sales or the quality of games.
True.
Because it's like GameCube came out and GameCube had like the best graphics card in that generation. That shit flopped. Nobody cared. And then they make the Wii that has the worst graphics, and it sold the best. Like PS3 had the best graphics out of all three of those consoles, and it did the worst. Somehow a console like the Xbox 360 that were fucking red rings, it did better than PS3. It makes no sense. Like, it's just like I don't know. It's very strange.
No, I feel you, man. Because if you think about shit like what is it, the NES? I had like slightly better graphics than a lot of. It had slightly better graphics, or had better graphics than the Atari and everything, but by no means did it have the best graphics on the market, because there were other consoles that were much better. And even at the time, people were like NES and Sega, or like the Sega Master System. Supposedly the Sega Master System had more horsepower. And then like Super Nintendo did not have the same capabilities as a Genesis. I mean, it always comes down to whether or not the games are good or bad. That's what it always comes down to. And I think that's what they were trying to show here, is that, look, we got a shit ton of games that are going to come out with our system. And they showed a huge variety here, because they had a shooter, they had a racing game, they had a sports game, they had an anime type game, they had what looks like a horror game they got a game that looks like a Diablo clone. They got one called The Medium, which looks like just it kind of looks like a mix between Gone Home and Silent Hill. And I think one of these games has the composer for Silent Hill. I don't know if it's this one, but there's
somebody from Silent Hill is working on The Medium.
Really? Okay, well that's what I heard it. You got like
which I mean, it sounds cool, I guess, but I don't. I don't give a shit about horror games.
No, I know,
but
what I'm saying is like
people were very sad about the PT demo not becoming anything after that. So I hope that scratches that itch for a lot of people because that's personally just like this genre that I just don't give a shit about really.
Speaking about shit, I don't give a shit about Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like that was their big one, and I couldn't give a shit because after it kind of looks like they're just like, well, God of War did Vikings and shit and Norse kind of shit. Let's do that. And now it just looks like they just did that. But
I didn't even think about that. I guess they did kind of just lift that from, or maybe not. I don't know.
I mean, they don't have many other places to go. It was either they've done a lot of like countries already, like historical looks. They have like Russia, they have China left, Japan, and now like they have Valhalla, which is like a Norse god kind of thing. So they'll probably get to it. They'll do Assassin's Creed Shanghai or something, or Hong Kong.
I'm always kind of surprised when people are excited for Assassin's Creed games. I don't know why either. I'm not saying that they suck or anything. I haven't played an Assassin's Creed game in a long time. I just feel like
same here.
I just feel like when they come out, a lot of people are disappointed with them, and they're just like, "Well, I should have known. Ubisoft fucked up again." And I'm like, "Then why do you guys get excited for this?" It's like every fucking James Bond movie that comes out, they're just like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." And then it comes out and they're just like, piece of shit James Bond movie. This one sucked. And I was like, then why do you watch all of them? Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just so weird. I don't know.
Okay, let's step away from that because I really, really, really want to know what you thought about Catherine Rain, A Detective is Born.
Kathy Rain. What do I say about Kathy Rain? It was really good. I liked it. There was, I think there was the story was a little bit strange.
Yeah,
there was definitely parts of the story that I was like, why did they even mention that? It kind of seemed like they weren't going anywhere with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a cool story about a character that is a lot like Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that.
If I could say that, yeah, it's like a cool girl in a leather jacket,
and a scarf,
and her opposite, is like this bright, bubbly Christian girl kind of figure,
Yeah. She's got a Did you see the Titanic poster in her room?
Yeah, you can actually look at it. Did you look at all the posters?
I didn't look at all the posters. I only you can kind of tell what it is, even though it's all pixelated. You can still tell that's what it is.
Kathy has Pulp Fiction and The Thing posters on her side of the room. Mm-hmm. And her roommate Eileen has Titanic and some other romantic comedy crap on her side of the room. The art is really good in the game.
It really is.
I really like the art.
I enjoyed it very much. Especially the between scenes. She's like when you go to location to location, she's out on the open road and she's driving her Harley not a Harley, it's a motorcycle, but it looks like an old chopper. And that scene looks cool. Somebody got that in a GIF form, and I was like, that's cool.
I think it's a Corley. Is that what she says? The Corley something or something like that?
Oh, okay. No, those are her cigarettes.
Yeah. I don't know then.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, I know it's a very specific motorcycle because at one point you're trying to talk to somebody and you have to talk about motorcycles to get them to talk to you.
They're all doing the old shop talk. She sticks her thumbs in the front of her pants and she's just like, yeah. That's a Butte, a Belcher from the ground up. Yep.
Yeah, most of the parts are secondhand, but it's there. It's all.
She's a bigger frame, but I'm a bigger girl, so I kind of like it.
Anyway. I'm I'm kind of a smaller girl, so I had to modify this baby, get all the tweaks in it.
I had to put the training wheels on.
Yeah, put the sparklies on the front.
Some tassels on the handlebars,
Yeah.
Biker stuff.
And then put the skull on the gas cap. You got to get the skull on the gas cap, or else it's not a real. It's not a real chopper. It just isn't a real chopper.
Yeah. But it has all of the elements of a great point and click. I think it has characters that you like. The voice acting is really good. The graphics and the art I already said were really good, but it just the thing I really like about point and click games is like you get a nice story out of it, um, but it's also how familiar you get with all the locations and stuff, you know, because in point and clicks you always have to look at every fucking inch of the screen, you know, you
Oh
have to
yeah.
look at every single pixel and something, and maybe I missed something here.
Got to make sure you
And the
search Graham's house, because
Yeah,
Grammy's house is
and
full of wonders.
there's actually a lot of like little hidden achievements you can get, and like things that don't necessarily have to happen if you don't like choose the right things or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You can, um, and then as far as like puzzles go, the first puzzle, like it got me stuck for a long time, as you guys heard. Um, but then after that, I kind of felt like there was kind of a lack of puzzles almost. Like I don't know. I guess they were puzzles, but they weren't in the traditional sense puzzles. You know, like um, I don't know, because that first one kind of set it up as like, oh, this is gonna be the type of game where I gotta be looking shit up and there's numbers involved and all this stuff, and then you don't really get something like that until like the very end. So I was almost like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because I agree with you there, because the first part of it was, right after your grandfather's funeral, and you're like going through his shit, right?
Yeah.
You got to decode it for some sort of thing, and then the rest of the game is very much like a detective thing, because they're not puzzles in the sense that, they're not puzzles in that, like, move this block so the door opens, blah, blah, blah. Not in that way, but they are puzzles in the way that Sam and Max makes puzzles. So, like, for example, I don't want to give this part away, but you need to get access to a hospital. And the way that you get access to it, you have to kind of think like a detective and be like, how can I, scare the guard away so that I can, get through to the building or whatever. That kind of thing is a puzzle to me. And that's what the rest of the game is.
Yeah, but there was also a fair amount of dialogue puzzles where it's like, you need to go here and ask the right question in order to get the answer you want that'll unlock this like location or something.
Or you have to show somebody a piece of something that will trigger a new conversation.
Which is not bad. I liked it. I just showed Ernie, like, before we started, like, I messaged him, like, this like, extensive thing of, like, people of interest that I had written down, and, like, I got really into the whole detective theme and, like, atmosphere. That part I really liked about it.
See, it's
just kind of...
This is Steve, like, whipping out his little notebook and be like, so you say she hasn't been home for 3 days.
Yeah, exactly. I got into character. I put on a scarf and I rented a motorcycle. But yeah, I didn't think that was bad. I just felt like I got the wrong introduction, because the first puzzle, it got me thinking like, oh, there's gonna be more stuff like this, and there wasn't. So it's just it's a little strange. Like in contrast, like you've played the Sherlock Holmes games.
Oh yeah.
That are on Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
They're on PC too. I think some company named Frog Games or something makes them.
Yeah.
Something like that. But those are just straight up like you get to the scene of the crime and it's like solve a fucking puzzle right now, like numbers and shit on a dial, and you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah,
like,
except for
like,
on those, on those, if you fuck up, they tell you. You fucked up. There was like 3 other clues you could have found.
Yeah, exactly. It's like really punishing,
Yeah,
like,
that one punishes you a lot, actually.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, this one's more of a traditional point and click where you can't really veer too far off the trail, but it's very good nonetheless. And it was I don't even know how many hours it was, because I basically beat it in a whole day.
Yeah, I think it does give you a playtime, like on your Steam account. If you go to the the main page,
I could probably open that up right now and check.
It'll tell you, you played this game for blah blah blah. With a lot of these games, especially on Steam, after you play about 10 hours, it asks you, would you recommend this game to a friend? And I didn't get that message from Kathy Rain until after I beat it.
Okay, I have 10 hours logged in.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah.
Steve.
Yeah. I will say, though, I didn't spend the entire game playing. There was definitely a point where I just left it on and, like, just was drawing or, like, I fucking just got up and stood, walked around my room or something. Yeah. But, yeah.
Pointing and clicking at different things in your room.
Yeah. I would highly recommend that game. That was a really good game. And the story was good, too. I enjoyed the story. Very twisty. Had some twists and turns I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and it's pretty cheap. It's like $15. So.
Yeah, no, I also recommend it. But honestly, I feel like that kind of game goes on sale all the time. So
it could.
If you just put it on your wish list, I think that'll come out in like another month or so. It'll be like, hey, get this game for $5 or something.
Yeah, they've been having steals. They have been having Steam sales a lot too.
Yeah.
So
sales
on everything, really.
I'm glad to hear that you played that game and you liked it, honestly. So thank you.
Yeah, I was like, I hope there's a sequel or something, but you made it sound like it's basically just like one guy, so I don't think a sequel will be around anytime soon. But
the guy, because when I beat the game, the first thing I thought of was, is there an alternate ending to it? Because a lot of these games, they'll do like, oh, if you did this, or if you do all of the puzzles correctly...
That's what I thought too, yeah.
You get an alternate ending that's better. Like, you get the true ending or some shit like that. I forget what people call that kind of ending. And when I went on to the Steam community page, people were asking, and the creator of the game was answering, and he said, no, that's the ending. That's the ending you're supposed to get. Although there are different things that you can resolve outside of the game, which will usually get you achievements. Because I think Steven got like 10 achievements. I only got 8. I didn't even know that you could do some of this other stuff that he did.
I love these type of achievements too, because they're like, I only missed like 2 or 3, and I'm like, oh, I could just easily go back and like try and get some of these, you know?
Yeah, one of them
it's
is
like
just one of them is just smoking everywhere.
Yeah, one of them is just spark it up on every screen.
And I got one where you smoke in front of this. You smoke like 3 or 4 times in front of this one dude, and it's like secondhand smoke, which I thought was pretty funny. Well, glad to hear you like that game. I also played a game on our favorite gaming software right now. I played Streets of Rage 4. I know you were talking about that you and John were going to start playing that, and how much you
played it a little bit, yeah.
And how you despise beat 'em ups. Literally despise.
I can't really.
Although I do know one game that Steven played where he beat the whole thing, and it was a beat 'em up, and that was
which game?
Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Yeah. Well, I will say this about Streets of Rage 4. It has special moves that require like directions and stuff. So it almost felt like I was like, oh, this game has like combos, and it's trying to be like a fighting game almost.
Yeah, a little bit. So
it has like a little bit of depth. It's not just straight up like mash the buttons, because man, the original Streets of Rage on Sega was very like
it was very bad.
It was pretty rough, dude.
That's okay. So that's a couple of things. Like, first of all, I'm gonna put it out there. I really, really enjoy this game. This is for beat 'em ups. I would still, like, if you give me out of 10, I would still give this like an 8, not necessarily a 9 or a 10. But there's so many things it does better that a lot of beat 'em ups refuse to change. Because I've played a lot of beat 'em ups on these kind of systems, like a little while. I think last year when I first got my Steam account going and everything, I played this beat 'em up called Mother Russia Bleeds. It's a fantastic game, but it suffers from a lot of these pitfalls that beat 'em ups usually do, and it's like each character plays essentially the same. You know, they all have like a little, like, you just mash X button and they do a combo, but all you're doing is mashing X. And Streets of Rage has kind of remedied that, because every character in that game plays very differently. And the way that you do combos is you have your light hit and you have a heavy hit, and then you also have like a special hit that you can do if you dash forward. Now, one of the characters can actually dash and run around the screen. Like if you double tap forward, her name is Cherry. Her name's Cherry Hunter, and she can actually like if you double tap forward, she'll run, and she can actually do like this running strike, which
that's only her.
It's only her. She's the only one that can do it.
Okay.
And she's the one I beat the game with first because the fact that she can do that makes it easy to dodge most people. But she is super weak. Like it takes way more time to kill most of the bad guys with her. But in contrast, you have other people like the main dude, which is Axel Stone from the original. He doesn't do that. But if you double tap and push X, he has like a forward punch that he does, where he like uppercuts with fire. Like that's his special like fire move. But it's not the special move that takes life away. But if you do a certain set of combos, you can actually pick somebody up off the floor, hit him against the wall, and then do that thing to get like this combo. And the combo system rewards you for that kind of stuff because the more points you get in a combo, the more points you get at a certain time that you hit these points, you get a life. And it keeps reminding you of that as you go. So it'll say like, 2,000 more points and you get a free life, or 200, and as you get closer it'll tell you. And then once you do get a life, it changes the color of your character for a second. It turns green, and so there's bigger indications of things that happen in the game.
Right.
Okay, so that's a big thing for me, is that they revamped their fighting. Like it's not just a beat 'em up, but like you were saying, it's more like half Street Fighter, half beat 'em up. The other thing they did is they really, really segmented each stage, because one thing that I really hate about beat 'em ups is that it's just one long stage, and it's just get to this part, now beat up 10 guys, now get to this part and beat up 10 guys, now get to this part and beat up 10 guys.
That's exactly the problem I have with beat 'em ups.
Okay, so in this game,
for that reason,
they are always introducing new bad guys, right? But every part you get to is situational. So, for example, the first part of the game, you're on the streets, so you run into what they use as their base amount of thugs, right? So as you progress through it, there are different parts of the level that are like, this is where they hang out, this is where they hang out. But the level is short, and they don't reuse characters that often in those areas. So it's like the first area you get like 5 or 6 guys, next area is 4, but each time they're having something new and interesting happen. And then in the second level, they're like, you got arrested. So now it's the cops. But in the cop level, the cops also beat up the bad guys. So it's like, even though these are new bad guys, they have their own logic to them. So if the cops are there, like cop bad guys, they will also fight the criminals. And the criminals will fight the cops by themselves.
So they're on no one's side.
Exactly. They'll beat the shit out of you too. But I
was going to ask about that too. I was like, how is the enemy variation in it?
The enemy variation gets really great because even though they will feed you the same type of enemies again and again, each level introduces a new type and a new way to fight in the level. And every level teaches you how to do it right off the bat. So one of the guys that a lot of people complain of is this guy named Donovan. And Donovan is the only one who has. He looks like a cholo, like a gangster cholo, and he can counter, like when you first get him, and then he has weapons. But later on, you find out he can catch weapons if you throw at him. So they progressively get more difficult.
They get more smarter, if you will.
They learn. They're AI. Yeah. But throughout the level, when you do that, you can actually use that to your advantage against them. Because in the game, that's another fighting mechanic they introduced in this. If somebody throws something at you, you can catch it. So if for example, if they throw a knife at you, you can catch it in midair and throw it back. Or if they throw a grenade at you, you can catch it and throw it back.
The idea of catching a knife and throwing it back is ridiculous.
Well, there's a part where there's grenades, and if you catch it in midair, you throw it back and pull the pin again. So it's like it's man, it's just so cool. And also the last thing that I gotta say about this game is the story that they introduced. This game is worth it just for the artwork, because I don't know who worked on this, but their character design is fucking awesome. And I can't say enough about it because it looks so good. And the whole thing is done like a comic book. So there's not really any voice acting or anything. It's just, slides and action poses and all that. And man, is it good. But
it does look good.
Say that again?
It does look good. I was noticing that. Because I there's some concept art that you can look at in the game. And you could see how it definitely came a long way,
Yeah, I mean, even the like idle animations of all of them standing.
Yeah.
It's great animation because they all have like this secondary animation that's happening. So, for example, Axel I think is the most robust because he's got like this coat that hangs off of him, and he's got this. You know how like grunge kids would always tie like a flannel around their legs, like that was a look. So when he's doing his like fighting stance, he bobs back and forth, and then his clothes kind of follow afterwards. So it's like
That's
this
cool.
all this secondary movement in all the characters that makes it, man, like somebody worked really hard on this. You could definitely tell there's a lot of love put into this game, and it's a fairly simplified story, but I love it that they tie it back to the first game because the girl that I played, her name is Cherry Hunter. Her father is from the original game. His name is Adam Hunter, and he like shows up in the middle of the game, but that's like his, like if you beat the game, you get to end up playing like with him later on, but it's like they were able to tie it back to that game in such a really, really nice way.
That's cool. They should have done something like that with like Final Fight. Like if they ever plan to reboot it, they should have like Hager's daughter or like fucking, I don't know, something like that.
I'd be down for them to
like,
do that. If they did it like they did this one, it's great. And the last thing I'll say about the levels is they're very short. Like they're difficult.
How long is the game overall?
The game is I think 10 levels, but I think every level will take you like maybe 30 minutes. Depending on how fast you dispatch everybody, that is, because every level has like a boss. The boss will take you like 10 minutes.
With 2 people?
Huh?
Is it going to be faster with 2 people?
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, it's faster with 2 people. Because
like it's not like Cuphead then, where like Cuphead just doubles the life of everything.
Well, no, there'll be more enemies, but depending on how well you guys work together, you guys could dispatch. Like if you team up on one dude and beat the shit out of him really fast, like you'll definitely go faster through the game with 2 people. Because there's other things like there's other parts of this game that I couldn't mention because they're specific to co-op. So when you grab somebody, you can actually vault over them and hold them.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then somebody else can like
move list.
dispatch them and stuff,
That's cool.
There's a lot. Nice. There's more depth to this game if you play it with other people. But I've beat the game 4 times because as you play through the game, you get more points. But if you play through the game with a second person that you've never played with, they give you bonus points for like discovering new people. So I beat it with Cherry Hunter. I beat it with Blaze Fielding, which, by the way, Blaze is my favorite character right now. Mm-hmm. I beat it with Axel Stone, and I just finished it with Adam Hunter. And the bonuses.
So you beat it with?
Huh?
I thought you would have just said I beat it with everybody.
No, because Adam is the guy that you get as a bonus for beating the game in the beginning. The other guy that's like, he's the new guy. His name is Floyd Uriah, I think it's pronounced. He is replaced. He is a replacement for, in the original game, there was this wrestler named Max, and he's like the big brooding dude, and that guy is replaced by Floyd in this one. And I don't usually play very well with heavies, so I didn't want to play him, but he's the last guy I haven't finished it with, so I might as well go back and finish it with him.
You used to love Hager, though, in Final Fight.
Because yes, but he wasn't as burly as some of these other guys. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, really? Okay.
Hager didn't move slower than everybody else. But like these
He had
guys,
skates at one point, didn't he?
I don't know, but
Didn't he have skates in Final Fight 3?
oh my god, no.
Or no?
No, he did
Or he
not.
just had like
he just had
he
like
had, like, a
these wrestling
ponytail.
pads, and he was all green.
that's what he. Yeah, that's what he had. And he had like a ponytail.
Yeah, it was terrible. Don't.
It was disgusting.
We don't want to talk
Yeah.
about that. No, but honestly, if you even kind of like beat 'em ups, play this game because
Okay.
it is so especially if you have Game Pass because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah.
That's
I know. You know what's funny too? It's like I heard a lot of people like Rocco from the Mega 64 podcast. He's like, yeah, I was gonna buy it, but he's like, it's like $30, and I was like, dude, it's on Game Pass. Just buy that shit once, and you can play through the whole game. Especially if you've never signed up for a Game Pass, it's $1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really cheap.
that's how I got it.
Yeah, it's like holy shit, dude. Like, it's basically free.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And then later on, like one of
a good deal.
some more like cool things is I don't know if so you haven't beat the game, but you saw all of the artwork already.
No, I basically just played the first level, and then there's an option in the menu that's just like concept art, and it was like a few pages. That's it.
Okay, so yeah, I got all the concept art, and I gotta be honest, just beating the game once just to get all the concept art is worth it because they show you a bunch of stuff that they didn't use in the game for enemies, and they show you how from the original sprite version they redrew them and then came up with these new characters. So they
that's
redrew
cool.
all the original bad guys, but they didn't use them all, which is really really cool. And then as you beat the game, you get the Streets of Rage sprite versions to play with. So you can actually replay the game with the
cool.
sprite versions too.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
So they
cool.
made like cherry sprite artwork.
No. Like if you beat the game, I think the first time through, more than likely you will get it's called SOR1, which is Streets of Rage 1 Axel, which is his sprite version.
Oh, okay.
It's really
does
really
cherry
awesome.
have maybe like an alternate costume or something then?
No. The unlockables are all for sprite versions, but people that are not in this game, you can get the sprite version of them back then. So there's in the original Streets of Rage, there was another character named Skate, which is it was some kid on some roller skates. You only get the sprite version of him. They didn't redo him as a like drawn and everything.
I remember that guy.
Yeah.
He was black, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah. And then
he had like a hat or something.
backwards hat. It's got to be backwards because it was the 90s.
I remember that.
You know what I mean?
That's cool. It must have been Streets of Rage 3.
No, he was in
Because I
Streets of
had
Rage
one
2.
of them for. Oh, okay, I had one of them for Genesis.
I think it was 2. You can get Max, who's the wrestler that Floyd replaced, and then I think you can even get like some samurai. One of the guys was like a ninja. His name's Shiva, and you can get him too.
Oh, cool.
It's really cool. Like honestly, I even without playing it with another person, I would say play it with somebody else. You're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the concept art. I really like looking at concept art to video games.
After this, I'm gonna
It's,
share my screen so you can see it because it's that dope. Honestly,
Okay.
yeah.
It's always interesting to see what was left on the cutting room floor.
It really is. Some of them you're like, oh, that would have been cool. You're gonna see it, and I guarantee you're gonna say it a couple times.
I remember seeing all of the fucking stuff for BioShock Infinite, like in the concept art book, and I was like,
That book makes me sad.
man, there's so much cool stuff they could have done and they did not, or like this was probably in development at one point, but like it got rushed, or I don't know what the fuck happened. But yeah. It tends to happen with every game.
It does.
There's always some
It's
element where you're just
heartbreaking.
like, ooh, this would have been cool, but eh.
It's heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah. Did you watch anything?
Yes, I did.
You did.
I mean, I told you last week I watched 2 things that I was really surprised at. It was Oliver and Company and The Rescuers
right.
Down
I haven't
Under.
watched that.
Because I was like, you know what, Steven was talking about Dumbo and Pinoche last week. And to me, it's like, I want to stay in that kind of era where they were still doing that really, really grainy, hand-drawn artwork.
Yeah.
And Oliver and Company is definitely within that realm. And
I should have watched that. I didn't really make time. I was like, it was like Saturday and I had nothing to do, and I just felt like really lazy and just tired for no reason. So I put on The Princess Bride because I felt like for some reason that was the only thing I could watch at that moment. A movie that I've already seen. Yeah, I've already seen it, but for some reason I was just like, I want to watch this again. It's just, sometimes movies are just like that. You're just like, I really feel like watching this. But I love that movie. If you haven't seen The Princess Bride, you should definitely watch it. It's a great fucking movie. And what's funny too is like, for some reason, I thought that this was a critically panned movie. Like, I was watching it and I was like, fuck, I love this movie. This is a great movie. It's a shame that it got, so critically bombed or whatever. And then I was curious and I looked it up. And that shit has like amazing ratings from the audience and the critics. So I was like, oh, never mind. What movie was I thinking? Or I don't know. I was like, why did I think people hated this movie?
I don't know why you thought they hated it.
Fucking amazing movie. I there's so many things I love about that movie, especially the way it's presented. How it's like the grandpa talking to his kid or talking to his grandson, reading him the story and stuff. It's a really good format, and it's got it's got that kind of humor that I like. When how like a movie just when it has that humor that really just connects with you, you're just like, I'm gonna like this whole movie, and I'm gonna like everything else these people make probably.
Most people always send me, like when they tell me to watch it. I haven't watched it, but when most people tell me to watch that movie, they always send me the scene of when they're playing, or not playing, but they're trying to figure out this puzzle about like, how do you know which cup I put the poison into or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, when the guy starts explaining, he's like, well, here's how I would figure it out. And then at the end of that whole spiel, he says, so you know which one's poison. He's like, oh, I haven't even begun to figure out.
Yeah.
Is that
that guy's great.
That's the Inconceivable guy, right?
Yeah, he's like does a lot of voices and stuff. I can't believe I don't know his name, but that scene is great. That whole part leading up to it, and it's there's a bunch of memes that come from that movie too. So if you haven't seen the movie, you've probably seen some kind of meme about it.
Oh, I have. I bet.
Yeah, but Ernie, if you haven't seen it, I would definitely say watch it. It's fucking. It's really good. It's like, I don't know. I really don't know how to describe it other than like it's just one of those movies that aged super well. Mm-hmm. Like yeah, like the writing's good. It's a really clever movie in a lot of ways. The format of it is like fairly unique. The way he's telling the story to the kid. It's just a great movie. That movie's really good. I really like it.
That's good.
Yeah. That's pretty much it though. I didn't watch anything else. There's this series called The Gallery that I've been wanting to watch, but they're still doing the weekly thing, and I'm kind of just like, just put them all on there. Like, we're in quarantine, just throw them all on there.
Nah, dude, it's gonna be like potato chips. You're just gonna devour them all, and they're trying to space them out. So you know what? Get a little bit a week, and it'll last longer. Because like you said, we're in quarantine. You gotta be more. What is it? You gotta be more sparing with everything.
Yeah, dude. Especially when it comes to fucking like supplies and shit, dude. Like the minute I run out of toilet paper, I'm just gonna cry because I do not want to go out and like deal with people in stores and stuff. Like,
you should just buy one of those toilet seats that washes your ass.
The bidets, yeah.
Hell yeah.
I was considering it. Yeah. I kind of want one.
The only thing about that is I believe you have to have some sort of electrical outlet near it. It doesn't operate on batteries dangerous. Or whatever.
I'll take the battery powered one. I'm not plugging shit into like something that's in water. Screw that. What's funny though is like I've been ordering stuff on Amazon or like just like on the Disney store and stuff.
Yeah.
And like a bunch of shit came today because like just like my orders were backed up, or like I pre-ordered something from like a year ago, and it like just arrived today, so it was a nice mail day for me. I got a lot of fucking fun mail. I got this. I got a baby Yoda replica, the child.
Oh
if
my
you will.
gosh, you got one of those?
Yeah, and I was like, when did I pre-order this? And it was like back in December, I guess, before they had started manufacturing them and stuff.
Oh my god, Steve! I cannot believe you
yeah.
bought one of those.
Because I think it was supposed to come out like in February or something, but because of the virus, like things got delayed or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think so, but that's so funny.
It's cool, dude. It looks really good. I was extremely surprised. I was like, dude, I kind of want to buy another one just to have it like in the box, and then I just can open this one and like just hug it. You know, it looks it looks
Wait,
real.
Is this the one that moves?
No, he doesn't move or anything. He's just a plush, and like his head is hard plastic and his hands are, but you could tell his body is just like nothing. It's just the clothes,
Gotcha.
basically.
No, there was because I know there was some sort of big pre-order for the one that moves. Like it's really, really. It looks like it could be really him because the whole thing is like the soft plastic. And
I
it,
think
like,
I
if
did
you
see
could
that.
touch his head and his ears move and everything, like it's
Isn't
a
it
pretty
like
good replica.
$800? I think I did see that. I'm not sure though. I saw one that was like ridiculously priced, and I was actually like, maybe.
It was like $300 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like expensive, but also I was like kind of a reasonable amount for what you're getting, so maybe.
Steve, stop wasting
Yeah.
your. Get my son a good present then. You better spend like $1 billion on him.
I bought a bunch of stupid shit actually. It was like because I got like a Star Wars cookbook because
You
my
don't
sister
cook.
had been saying. My sister had been saying, our sister I should say, had been saying like she never got to go to the cantina at Galaxy's Edge, so I was like, oh, you know what? They have a cookbook. Let's just try to make all the recipes at home and see.
Let's get the cookbook.
And the drinks and stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna try it out.
Anything to make it like you're a Disneyland host, dude. Anything.
Yeah, pretty much, dude. I'm not. It's gonna make me sound so pathetic. I'm having dreams that shit is just back to normal, and then I'll just wake up fucking depressed because it's not back to normal. I've been having like dreams that like I'm just like in a shopping mall and I'm just like, hey, let's head to Disneyland, guys. Let's do it. Let's all go to Disneyland. And I wake up and it's just like fucking.
Oh wait, I cannot.
It's still 2020.
You're
oh
like,
shit.
I cannot.
Yeah, so dumb. But yeah, I hope everybody else has been managing, because I know it's not easy right now.
It is
so,
not.
Anything else to talk about, Ernie?
No,
Anything
I think
else you've
we're
been
good
doing?
for this week. Although I am going to be playing a lot of games now because Halo. I just saw that Halo 2, I think just got released for Game Pass.
On Game Pass. Yeah.
I believe
So did
so.
Red Dead too.
And Red Dead. So it's just like there's.
Yeah.
Whew, we're going to be playing a lot of stuff now. Lots of stuff.
Yep. Well, that does it for this week, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys next week.
See you next week, guys.